Because of this one quality that's inside of you, you rise to the top, right? And you reach a position of power.
This advice, of course, it's wonderful for all people like me and Farouk who doing business and who wants to write book. Yeah.
Why do you want to write a book?
Is there any laws you think doesn't work anymore?
Well, to answer your question, no.
When we're having power makes us feel lonely.
When you have success, the people that were your friends, they feel a little bit envious of you.
He learned a language for you.
Well, maybe we'll write a book together about the 49th law of power.
Please, with me too, yeah.
So,
Free,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
And Farouk.
Robert Greene. Woo! Guys, are you ready? Yeah. Farouk, please.
Through education and started to write a book called Life and Benefit Others. Could you give me some advice and recommendations and share your opinion?
You mean about your book?
Yes, called.
This is your first book? Are you sure you want to do this? Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for being lonely? Are you ready for a lot of difficulty?
I would like to leave behind a book that will be useful after my death.
Okay. All right. Well, the most important thing in writing a book is having so you have an idea, you have made an idea that organizes the whole thing, something that you need to communicate to the world. It's very important to you, correct? Right? Okay. So what makes a good book or a bad book is how well you are organized. I tell this a lot to people in business, entrepreneurs and CEOs, that how you structure something, how you organize something is extremely important, right? You can have the most brilliant ideas, you can have the most incredible idea for a company, but if you can't structure your thoughts, if you can't discipline them, it's all just going to fall apart. And a book, I compare a book, when I write a book, it's like I'm building a cathedral, right? And it has to have a foundation, and it has to have a design, and it has to be executed beautifully, right? So your purpose, what you need to do is you need to take all of your thoughts. Now, I'm giving you very specific instructions. I hope you're listening to me. Okay. You need to take down all of your thoughts about this book that you want to write, this legacy about, I forget what the book is about. What was this book about?
Life and Benefit Others.
So take all of your ideas, and in a notebook, right, you loosely take down notes every day, every single day, okay? You have to take this seriously because writing a book is very difficult. So for a month, every day you write down notes, 3 or 4 pages, very loosely. You don't have to worry about it. You have fun, all right? And you write down your notes. Okay, and then you finish after a month. Now the hard part starts. Now you have to organize everything into a structure, into a form, okay? So you go through those notes of 100 pages of notes, and you see themes in there. You see themes of how to help other people, of what it means to be alive, of what will give you a sense of purpose, etc. You see themes in all of your notes, and now you have a structure, and now you have to organize those ideas into whatever structure you feel like. But the most important thing is to first, in the beginning, to have some fun with it, to be excited by your idea, to take lots of notes, and then to very, very carefully structure it and discipline it into a structure, into a kind of plan that will, give the whole thing a shape. So for me, for my writing of my books, I'm very, very interested in the structure of the book, right? I have a definite plan. If you've read my books, you notice that there's definitely an organizing principle behind them, okay? And that is where all the hard work goes. So people think writing is just fun, and it is not fun. It is torture. Writing is torture. I'm sorry to say that, okay? The fun comes in when it's all finished, and you get to go on a book tour, and people like you are asking me questions. But don't think that writing this book is easy. Take it very seriously. Take lots of notes and be prepared to spend a lot of time organizing your thoughts.
Or you can give up this idea. Yeah?
I would recommend giving up.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose your hair more quickly than Gregory is.
Yeah, I think, this advice, of course, it's wonderful for all people like me and Farouk who doing business and
Yeah.
who wants to write book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you want to write a book?
No, because we want to develop some heritage, yes, some
legacy.
legacy, yes,
Yeah.
some legacy, and legacy it's important for us. And he has very big company in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and the UAE country, very big company, construction company.
Ah.
But and of course he has a lot of legacy. It is buildings, yes, a lot of buildings. Yeah, but Robert, it's about you. We wrote your book, we read your book, and we want the same fame.
Well, the best advice I can give you is to find somebody else to help you write the book, right?
Yeah.
And to work with somebody on that who's had experience with it, because it can be very difficult when you've never written a book before. So maybe afterwards you take my email and I can maybe help you find that person.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Lucina, please.
You often write about adapting to power dynamics without losing control. And I'm from Armenia. I have my company, logistic company. I have some proposal from Chinese company and start to lead one big, huge project in Armenia with them. And something I never imagined it could be in my life. And I'm very excited about this, honored, but a little bit afraid. And I think I'm not so much ready for this big step. And I'm so happy, especially that our meeting comes before this important event. And I think it's a sign that everything will go perfectly.
What are you afraid of? What's your biggest fear? Make it specific.
It's a very huge project. It was my dream and my goal to now I have logistic company and it will be more warehouse. We will start industrial center in Armenia, and it's a big responsibility for me to start this with them. And I'm very honored to be chosen.
So you're worried more about yourself and whether you're up to the task? Are you worried about that you're not you don't have the experience for handling this?
I don't have so much experience for handling this kind of business, warehousing, but I hope I will manage it. I think I will manage it, and I need your advice. What laws or will you recommend me to use to be to position as a strong and respected partner to build a trust
With the Chinese?
with Chinese people in this?
Well, the thing is, one of the laws of power, I forget what number it is, it's maybe 12 or so, is act on people's self-interest. Always understand what other people's self-interest is, okay? So it's not about gratitude or that people owe you anything. It's about what they need and what they want. So if you're worried about pleasing the Chinese in this relationship, if that's your biggest anxiety and concern, you need to be very focused on who they are. You need to do a lot of research on the company that you're dealing with, right? The people you're dealing with. Get somebody on your team to do a lot of research for you. It's like when you go in for a job interview, people come to me for advice about how to give job interviews. And I say, you do the most amount of research possible to understand what they need, what the company needs if they're going to hire you. Not what you need, not what you want, but what they need and what they want. So the biggest mistake people make is they're so locked in their heads. They're insecure. They're thinking about themselves. Well, how am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? You want to be outer-directed. You want to think about the Chinese group. What are their needs? What is their self-interest? How can I please them the most with my project here, right? That means understanding their culture. Chinese culture is very different from Armenian culture, and it's very different from American culture, right? It's a little more rigid. It has thousands of years of history, right? The Chinese, unlike Americans, think way in the future. They're strategic. They don't think in terms of 6 months. They're looking 3 or 4 years or 5 years down the road, right? So you want to think like a Chinese person. You want to get inside their culture, get inside their mindset. Think of your project as this thing that you're going to create in 3 or 4 years, this warehouse, right? It's going to be a mix of you and this other culture, Okay, so you have a vision of what it's going to look like, but think constantly about them, about what their needs are, why they have come to you. I mean, that's the main question: is why did they partner with you?
Expected from me, yes.
Do you know? Do you understand that? Do you-
I understand. Yes, I know.
okay.
Because my company is leading company. I own the Armenian Logistic Association in Armenia, and so I think they know about it, and they know that I can help them with a lot of. I'm in a business community in Armenia and have a lot of business partners, business friends. So
Okay, I think for Lucine it's more important not take advice, but take your blessing.
To what?
Blessing.
Yeah, my blessing.
Yeah.
I bless you.
thank you.
Have a blessing.
Thank you so much.
Robert Greene
succeed.
is blessing you, Lucine. Please make a lot of money for
I hope
all us.
everything will go perfectly there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're very
Thank you.
Do you want outstanding results? You need a strong environment. At the Megacampus Summit, 13,000 entrepreneurs and visionaries from 75 countries will gather. You will meet people who will help you grow. The greatest minds of our time, 3-time Oscar winner James Cameron, world best-selling author Robert Greene, the greatest chess player Magnus Carlsen, and the legendary Iceman Wim Hof will give lectures for you on March 6th and 7th on the Coca-Cola Arena stage in Dubai. Become part of the world's largest lecture event. The Megacampus Summit is the beginning of your new chapter. Make sure to get the best seats.
Please, Gregory.
I read your book, 48 Laws. I work with your book. I did my summary about your book. I love your books. I am entrepreneur. For 6 months, I was learning English. To ask you a question, this was my goal.
Yeah. He learned a language for you.
Okay. Well, you speak very well.
Thank you. I want to know, what goal do you have now? And what are you doing to get to your goal?
Well, okay, the immediate goal is I'm writing a book. I've been writing this book for almost 6 years continuously, right? So my immediate goal is to finish it in January. I will be the happiest man on planet Earth when that book is finished because it has been so difficult. But my long-term goal is to stay alive, is to be healthy, because I nearly died a few years ago. And so I know how short life is. I know how your health can vanish tomorrow, right? And how easy it is to take it for granted and to think and to not be grounded in the moment and appreciate the time that you have. So my long-term goal is to live another 10 years, 20 years, to write a few more books, right? My mother, in 6 weeks, she's going to turn 99 years old. God bless her. Do you understand 99?
Yeah,
That's pretty old, right? Okay. So I want to live that long and be able to write books and still have a mind that can write that. So that's my goal. I don't have anything, it's not about money for me because I've made enough money at this point in my life. It's about being able to fulfill and help people with my books and be able to write 3 or 4 more books in the future. That's my goal right now. But immediately, I just want to finish this one book.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
If you don't remind, we can sell your book in our Megacampus Summit.
Well, it won't be available yet.
Okay.
It won't be out until October of next year,
Okay.
a year from now.
We will have summit and
Another one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
please. Thank you, Gregory.
Can you name your books?
The new book?
The new book.
Yeah.
It's called The Law of the Sublime. It's a book about what I call the sublime, okay? And it comes out of my experience of almost dying, right? And actually, the 12th chapter, which is the one I'm writing about now, is about our dealing with death and mortality and people who've had near-death experiences and what that means, okay? The idea of the sublime is normally we humans, we live in this kind of circle where we have these certain ideas and things that we believe that are kind of limited in and what we're supposed to think and what our culture expects of us. And outside of that circle are all kinds of experiences that are almost impossible to put into words, but that are beautiful, that are sublime, that open you up to the fact that there's something greater than just our individual lives. And each chapter is about an element of those sublime experiences, our relationship to animals, our relationship to the cosmos, to life itself, to history. I have a chapter on love, a chapter on, as I said, a chapter on adversity. So each of those each of the chapters is taking you outside your normal limited life and exposing you to something greater, to something sublime. And that's what the book is about.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gregory. Oswald, please.
Hello, Robert. Hello, Grigory. My name is Oswald. I'm from Lithuania. I'm doing commercial real estate and building communities for elder people. And Robert, your books been influencing people for more than 2 decades. And world is changing dramatically. Technology, social media, AI, and the power seems operates differently these days in this modern world. And if you would revise your books, would it be any laws which you update, or would you add new ones? And is there any laws you think doesn't work anymore in this modern world?
Well, to answer your question, no. I think every single law is effective. When I wrote the book, I wanted it to be timeless, right? Because so many things you write and they're all about in a specific moment of time. And 5 years later, you read the book and you go, that's not relevant anymore to what's going on in the world. So when I wrote the 48 Laws of Power, I researched every period in history, right? Going back thousands of years, every possible culture from China to Africa to the Middle East to Europe to South America, etc. Every single culture. So my laws are universal, right? So you might think, well, we have social media now, we have technology, we're so sophisticated, we have AI. It's almost like we're a different species, as if we're elevated and we've become something else. But it's not true. We are still human beings. We have the same emotions, the same reactions that people had 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. Nothing has changed. We are the same. The technology changes, but the technology almost makes it worse, right? So if somebody brought up here the fact that my books are about having a degree of control over the world, the only thing that's happened now is it's harder to have control. It's harder to be a leader. Things are more complicated. People are more emotional. Things are changing so quickly. It's chaotic, right? But there have been chaotic periods in history before. So I wanted to write a book that's going to last. So Machiavelli, I'm not on the order of Machiavelli. I'm here, Machiavelli's here. I'm not that grandiose, okay? But Machiavelli wrote a book in 1514. 600 years later, people are still reading his book, right? It's timeless. The Prince is a timeless book. It applies to social media. It applies to AI. That's what I hope for my own books. I would not change a single chapter in that book. I would not add another law of power because I worked on it so hard to think of, is there anything that I've missed in all of my research? And I don't really feel like I've missed. Is there something that you would say that what in your mind would be the 49th law of power?
Good question. We should discuss this behind the scenes later.
Okay. Is there any law that you think isn't relevant anymore?
You know, since you mentioned about your new book, and I think I'm really deeply attaching to my, let's say, higher self, and the communication what I have with it, it's truly, let's say, behind the words. It's more with a sense. And if I would say that we should have 49 law, yeah, I would say that something should be about that connection. Yeah. So I'm really happy I heard about your new book. It really inspires me to wait for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I said, just wait one more year and it'll be out there. But I agree with you. I mean, you see, I wrote a book about power, okay? And power is a world. Just think of it as a world that exists out there, okay? And when you enter a game of power in the work world, you enter that game. It's like a game of chess. You know, speaking of Magnus Carlsen, you're starting to play chess, right? It's a world. That's what I wrote in the 48 Laws of Power. But God is not part of the power game. Your wife or your spouse is not part of the power game. Your family, your friends, that is not when you enter the arena of power. But when you enter the arena of power, that's the world of the 48 Laws of Power, okay? So my new book isn't really about power. It's about expressing something higher within ourselves. It is attaching to that higher self. So to answer your question, I really wouldn't change anything in the book. I feel it's kind of complete for the subject, for the world that I'm trying to depict in the 48 Laws of Power.
Thank you, Osvaldo-sensei. Thank you for your advice.
Thank you for your advice.
Yeah.
His advice? What's his advice?
It's about
Oh, the 49th Law of Power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, maybe we'll write a book together about the 49th law of power.
Please, with me too.
you
Yeah,
too,
free.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Farouk.
Okay, please, Rassa.
Yes, hello. It's an honor to be here. I'm originally Lithuanian, but I'm living in beautiful island of Cyprus, Mediterranean.
Oh, wow.
So this time, usually I travel a lot and they call me roaming Rasa because I travel for my clients as real estate consultant to choose the best properties for them around the world. But this time I traveled because it's really amazing and it's an honor to meet a person who analyzed thousands years of history and from such perspective that you put it in this way that we can benefit in a practical way. That's why you wrote bestsellers, which is timeless, and you succeeded that. And really, thank you. And still, you keep grounded. You still give honor to higher powers, and this being grounded is good example for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
You're
first
very
of all.
welcome. You're very welcome.
And
Do you have any
yes,
question?
Now and
Oh, just good
questions.
words.
Just so general, I'm thinking about that. When we're having power, don't you feel it makes us feel lonely? And if it is like this feeling is existing, so how can we keep the deep friendship, true friendship, while pursuing our personal ambitions and like goals?
Well, I mean, you have power, correct? Do you feel lonely?
Yes, sometimes I feel.
And why do you feel lonely? What is the source of your loneliness?
Most probably that more power I obtain, less people staying around me close.
Really? I see. Okay, well, sometimes what happens is, I've noticed it with myself, when you have success, the people that were your friends 10 years ago who don't have the success that you have, they feel a little bit envious of you. I don't know if you're experiencing that at all. Have you lost friends because of that? Yeah, it's very painful, and I've been through that myself. So there are a couple things I would suggest. I feel like I'm being a psychologist now, or an analyst, a psychoanalyst, but I would do one thing is I would forgive these people who aren't so friendly to you. Understand why they feel that way. They're acting not they don't dislike you. It's their problem. It's coming from themselves, right? They feel envy towards you, okay? And envy is an extremely natural human response when somebody else has success and you don't, okay? To this day, I have success, but I envy other people. I envy people who are younger than me, who are healthier than me. I envy my former mentee, Ryan Holiday, who's written more books than I have. He's probably sold more books than I have. Envy is extremely natural. So forgive these people, okay? Just forgive them. And if you can bring them back into your life in some way, that's better. But be a little bit wary, because people who are envious can be very destructive, all right? But the other thing is you need like a new set of friends, people who are, you need to like evolve and not be stuck in the past, okay? And then, is loneliness, do you have a circle of friends that are very tight that you trust and that, yes? Well, maybe that's better, Sometimes in life, things happen, and they happen for a reason. And so now that you maybe had 20 friends before, and now they're not so friendly with you, but you have 5 really tight friends, maybe that's better. Maybe your life is better now that you have people that you could trust, who you're closer to, that you could connect to in a real way, okay? So you're not really lonely, right? You just have a smaller circle of friends, okay? But also, when you have success and power, what makes you lonely is people act differently towards you, right? They're a little bit intimidated by you. And I imagine also, if I might say so, it's a little more difficult for women, I think, right? Because it's a new world. People are having a harder time adjusting to women being more powerful than a man, right? So some of that might be what you're experiencing as well as a woman. People, they're not as comfortable with feeling like there's a woman who's superior to me, who has more power than me, okay? So the thing is, you have to kind of just sort of go with the moment and understand that when you have more and more success, people act towards you differently, right? They're not as open. They're more a little bit intimidated by you. And you just have to accept that that's part of life. And you just have to go with it and not worry about it, you know? And sometimes, to be honest with you, to be alone is not a bad thing, right? You have more time to focus. You have more time to think what's really important to you. I feel like sometimes I need to be alone. I need to retreat from the world. I don't like it when 100 people are surrounding me and talking to me. I like to withdraw and to be into myself and to think of what I want and what I need. So maybe embrace your loneliness. Maybe this stage in your life is a good thing. You have people a smaller circle that you trust, and you have time to value what is important to you and not be caught up in all the chaos of other people. Is any of this making sense?
It does. Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yes, very sure.
Okay.
Guys, I want to cancel our dinner today because I need to be alone. Yeah. Please, Natalia.
Hello, Robert. My name is Natalie. I'm from Russia. Sometimes ago, I read an excellent book by Jim Collins, From Good to Great. What do you think a person should do now become great in 20 years? And will the 48 laws of power change in 20 years?
Yeah.
You read
Good from
Jim
good to
Collins,
great.
Good from Great. I want to say 2 words about this. For the last 10 years, Jim Collins answered to my emails 0 times. Never.
Yeah. So
He never answers
he's not
me.
worth it. Forget about it.
Yeah, I don't know how it's working. Jim Collins, if you watch it, please answer to me. Yeah, and what's your question?
What do you think a person should do now to become great in 20 years?
In 20 years.
In 20 years.
Okay. Well,
Okay. What you should do to become great in 20 years? Okay.
Well, is this personally about you? You're talking about yourself? Because look, if you're 60 years old, there's nothing you're going to do to become great by the time you're 80, all right? It's too late. But if you're 20, well, how am I going to be great when I'm 40? That's another question. So is this about you and your life? Well, first of all, in your mind, think of what would it be? It's Natalie, right?
Natalie, yeah.
What would it be like? What would great be like? What would it look like? What would it be in 20 years? Can you answer that question? What would great in your mind look like in 20 years? What would that be? To be a billionaire, to own a Greek island, to have your own yacht? Or would it be to have a family, to be happy, to have supportive friends? What does it look like for you? Because everybody's different. Am I confusing you? Huh?
I'm about it.
You're thinking about it.
Oh, you're thinking about it.
Yeah. You're thinking about it. You don't know answer right now.
Well, I mean, see, the problem that people have in this world, and it applies to everyone, is your ideas are vague. Okay, I'm going to start a business, and I have an idea for a business, but it's not specific enough. It's not concrete enough. It's a dream. You have a vision. It's all misty. It's like existing out there in the clouds. Oh, this is going to be something great I'm going to build. It's not realistic. It's not grounded in reality. I'm somebody that believes in details, in being realistic, and having a goal in 20 years. It's to reach this, okay? What is it? If it's so vague, you're never going to reach it, right? If I have a book that I want to write and the idea is just, I want to write a book about, happiness, I'll never write it, because what does that mean? I have to have a very specific idea of what I want to accomplish to write that book in 2 years. So if you want to be great in 20 years, which is a pretty long time, I think you should really say, well, I hope to be alive in 20 years, right? But, okay, in 20 years, what will that look like? What will it feel like? What will it be? And not be so vague about it. I'm not criticizing you, but that's, if you ever want to accomplish anything in life, you have to be concrete. You have to have realistic goals and ideas, and you have to see it in your mind. I talk a lot in my book about vision. People who are great, who accomplish great things, have a vision of something they want to create. And that vision is very real. They can see it in their mind's eye. I advise people who are CEOs, they have something they want to create. I say, let's envision it. Let's make it specific. Let's actually see it. You spoke about a warehouse. Let's see that warehouse. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see how it operates. All right? Once you have a vision, that's how the human mind works. When you can see something in your mind, it's real and you can reach it. But when it's all confused and vague and you don't know what it is, it's very hard to become realistic and actually reach your goals. So you have to see things. You have to be concrete. You have to be realistic. This is where I'm going to be in 20 years. This is what I'm going to look like. This is what my business is going to look like. This is the family I'm going to have. Now I can take steps to get there. And it doesn't have to be like a rigid plan to get there in 20 years. You can zigzag, you can go around, you can have fun, you can have adventures, but you know you're going to get there. Not here, not anywhere around the world, but here. How am I going to get there? I can take different routes, but I have to have a goal. Am I making any sense?
Excellent. I think, guys, I think, guys, it's very important to be realistic and to know your resources and how much resources you have and how much resources is allocated. It's very important. Thank you, Robert. Yes, please, Alex.
My company, Chern & Co., specializes in business registration and tax optimization in Europe. Robert,
I'm not going to be able to help you with any of that.
that was just an introduction. Robert, I really enjoyed your book, 48 Laws of Power. And I have a question. Your laws, they often require some level of manipulation or hidden tactics. Yet, in today's world, people increasingly value transparency, authenticity. Do you think that true power can be built on openness alone? Or does influence always require some level of hidden moves? And what laws would you recommend to be used for family and friends who know me too well and can't be easily controlled?
Okay. Sometimes transparency is good, is fine. So the thing is, when people come to the 48 laws of power, they're too literal-minded, okay? Everything depends on the circumstances that you face in life, right? Every moment is different. So sometimes it's okay to be transparent with your employees, with the people who work for you. So for instance, you have a goal for your company and you have 100 employees, right? And you're the head person, you're the CEO of it, okay? You want everybody on your team to understand that this is where we're going. This is the goal that I have. This is what I want you to accomplish. Okay, you're transparent to them, right? You're also transparent on who you are. When things go wrong, you take responsibility for them. You don't blame other people. You're a true leader. That's being transparent. I mean, if you start blaming other people and say, I made a mistake because of him or her, that's not being transparent. You're trying to confuse people. So you take responsibility. You're transparent. But to your rivals, you're not transparent, right? If all the other companies who are your competitors, if they know exactly where you're going to do, you're in trouble because they're going to try and beat you to that goal. You want to keep them in the dark, okay? Right? So I wrote the book because I believe people are too naive in this world, right? Do you understand the word naive? I was very naive when I entered the work world when I was 21 years old, right? I wrote the book so that you're not so naive. You have rivals out there. They're not sweet and loving. They don't want the best for you. They want the best for themselves, right? So don't be naive. You have to conceal your intentions. They can't know what your next move is going to be. If you're playing chess like Magnus Carlsen, I keep coming back to him, and your opponent knows what your next move is going to be, you're never going to win, right? Okay, sometimes you have to surprise people. Also, there are people out there who don't have the best intentions, who are manipulative, right? Who can be very, very tricky and very difficult, okay? If they know everything about you, if they know everything what's going to happen next, they can be very mean. They can do very nasty things to you. So The world of power is a strategic world. It is warfare. It is difficult out there. It has never been more competitive in the business world than it is now, because you're dealing with a global environment. You're dealing with AI. You're dealing with chaos, right? It's very tricky. It's very competitive out there. So you have to have your eyes open. You have to be realistic, and you have to understand that some people don't have their best intentions for you. So my advice is you're transparent strategically when it's important to be transparent to your customers, to your employees. But you're not being transparent just for the sake of, not just because you're a loving, wonderful person. You're transparent because you're strategic, and you understand sometimes it's good to be transparent, and sometimes it's good to confuse the hell out of other people so they don't know what you're up to. Each moment you decide, what is the strategic goal I have? What's the best thing for me to do? Sometimes it's be transparent, and sometimes it's to be deceptive and even manipulative.
Thank you.
Excellent. Please, Michael.
My name is Michael. I'm entrepreneur who provides the financial consulting services, and I have the question. Today there is a very noticeable lobby of global companies and businesses whose influence exceeds that of the government. President Trump has released a meme coin in honor of himself and his wife Melania. How long will this trend continue, and do you agree that the current as president has the right to release his own meme coin for trading on the exchange? Is there an obvious conflict of interest here?
Is it political question,
Okay,
Michael?
I didn't quite get it.
Huh, sir?
Can you tell me what the question is?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Michael asked about the trend of meme coin by Donald Trump. What do you think? Is it long time trend, and is it ethical for politics?
No, it's certainly not ethical. No, it is not ethical. By the rules of the United States, by how our laws are, by how our government works, it is not ethical at all. So to tip the scales of the business world, when you're the president of the United States, we have laws that are designed to stop that. But he has learned to circumvent all of these laws. It's what I would call corruption. So I don't think it's ethical. I don't think it's valid. I don't think it's good. And I hope it's not a precedent for future leaders of our country. I'm old school. Okay, let me just admit that. I'm not a big believer in cryptocurrency. Now, I know you're going to probably hate me for that, or people are going to think that I'm old-fashioned or whatever. But I study history, thousands of years, economics, right? And we have, every time something comes up where there's a new piece of technology, people go, wow, we've rewritten the rules in the financial world. This time it's different, right? In the 17th century, it was tulips in Holland. In the 18th century, it was the South Sea bubble in England. In the 19th century, it was railroads and telegraphs. Then it became radio and television, and then the internet and cable TV, and now it's AI. And every time we think, oh my God, the world is different, the rules of finance, of making money, they've all changed. It's bullshit. It's not changed. It's just a bubble. So I don't know a lot about cryptocurrency, and I could be wrong, so please don't quote me on that. But I think right now what we're going through in the United States, we're going through another bubble. Do you know what I mean by bubble? Yeah. Okay. It's an AI bubble. Massive amounts of money are being poured into artificial intelligence in the United States, right? And it's greatly inflated. And it's creating a lot of wealth right now because of the money that's being invested in it, the finance that's being flowed into it. But it's not anything necessarily real, right? It's like the productivity hasn't necessarily gone up. It's a bubble, it's an illusion, it's a fantasy that people are glomming onto. So sometimes when I look at the business world, I go, is this something real and solid? Is this based on something timeless? Or is it just another illusion? Is this like people wanting things to be a certain way? I'm afraid I look at cryptocurrency and I look at AI through that lens because I've seen so many people fall for these illusions. Like it's different. Like we went through in 2008 and it goes on and on and on. It's history. So I have no idea if I've answered your question because I didn't really understand your question. So I hope I have. Have I?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I think about bubble. Yeah, it's incredible time. You can create it just just presentation created your startup with presentation, and this startup will estimate $15 billion just because you worked in OpenAI.
Yeah.
It's not profit for the world.
No.
It's just, yes, bubble. You're right. Last question, please, Sergey.
I am 42. I'm building a fintech company.
Fintech, financial technology. Financial technology company, fintech.
Okay.
It's like edtech, but fintech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
like
What?
bank.
Bank.
Okay.
Sorry for my English.
I know what a bank is. Okay.
Yeah, but at this stage of life, I've realized real growth isn't only about business. It's all about inner change, mindset, discipline, perspective. And my question, in your view, what kind of transformation should a man and founder go through between 40 and 50 years to truly lead at that next level?
Okay, about transformation between 40 and 50.
Yes.
That's a great question. That's a very good question. Okay. So I'm obviously the person that sort of my mentor is Machiavelli, right? He's had a great influence on the way I think. And Machiavelli had this idea about the perfect leader in this world. He says what happens in this world is you rise to power, as you must have done, Sergey, based on a quality that you have that's your dominant quality. I don't know what that is. It could be charisma, it could be confidence, it could be technical skill, or it could just be sheer arrogance. Like you just know better than anybody else and you're just aggressive. It could be sheer aggressiveness. Because of this one quality that's inside of you, you rise to the top, right? And you reach a position of power. You're 40 years old. You have used that quality to get there. The problem that you have is the world changes. It's not the same world that you rose up 10 years ago. You're now 40. The world is changing. Your employees are changing. Your rivals are changing. Technology is changing, right? And what makes a leader fail and lose in these situations is they cannot adapt, right? So if there's a law of power that I advise the most, it's law 48, assume formlessness. All right. So you have to say, I have to be willing to change myself. I have to be willing to adapt to the times. The strategy that I used 5 years ago isn't going to work anymore, right? I need to have another quality about myself. I have to raise my game to a higher level. Okay. I don't know what that specifically will be, but the worst thing that can happen to you is you being rigid and tight and thinking you know the best. And I did this 3 years ago. It worked. I'm just going to repeat it. That's going to be your downfall, right? Listening to other people is going to be your downfall. They're going to fill you with bad advice. You have to be self-reliant. You have to think you have to do a lot of research. You have to go, where is the world headed in 5 years? And how can I be on top of that trend? So just to give you a final example, I was on the board of directors of a publicly traded company, American Apparel. I don't know if you've heard of American Apparel. It no longer exists. It was a fashion line here in the United States. It was global. It was very successful. I was good friends with the CEO, he loved the 48 laws of power. He rose to power because he was that person who was very aggressive. He had a vision. He could do everything himself. He was an incredible entrepreneur. And he built this company, a factory here in Los Angeles. It was a beautiful thing. The company went public in 2007. When you go public, the whole game changes. He couldn't adapt. He couldn't change. He was still locked in the past. The brand of clothing that we were making, which was mostly for young women, tastes were changing. He could not adapt to how things were changing. He was locked in the past, and the company failed. It went down, and now it doesn't even exist anymore. So where is my world headed? What are the trends in the next 5 or 10 years? And how can I change, and how can I adapt to it and not be mired in the past? That's when my advice would be. It's a critical issue. I give a lot of consulting to CEOs, and it's their main fault, it's their main downfall, it's their main flaw, is they're locked in the past, and they don't have fluidity, they can't adapt to how the world is changing.
Thank you so much.
Great. Awesome. Mr. Robert, do you know about the topic? Which topic you will choose for Dubai for Megacampus Summit?
Well, the way I'm looking at it is, so I had my stroke.
Yeah.
I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm coming back home. I'm in the ambulance driving me back home to my house in Los Feliz. And I'm thinking, my world is about to change, right? I've just dealt with something very traumatic, okay? How am I going to deal with it? Okay. And normally I'm a person who's very critical of myself. I'm very hard on myself. And I'm going to need to get through this trauma in my life. I'm going to need certain qualities that are going to see me through. And I'm in the ambulance and I'm thinking, what are those qualities that you had in the past that have led to you to have success? I decided that there were 3 qualities. And these are the 3 qualities that I'm going to talk about in Dubai. The first one, is resilience. The ability to take failure, to take adversity, and to grow from it. To embrace the bad things that happen to you in life. Like the stroke happened to me. Resilience. Being able to grow from adversity. That's one thing. The second thing is purpose. To have a purpose in life, right? So for me, coming out of the stroke, I could easily just fall. People who have strokes, they normally get very depressed because you suddenly lose your body. I have to have a purpose that will not let me get depressed. The purpose for me was to write another book immediately. 1 week after I'm back home from the hospital, I'm writing my next book, okay? So having a sense of purpose in life, a goal, we've been talking about it here, about where you want to be, about what you were meant to accomplish in life, okay? And the third is creativity, is being fluid, is being adaptable. So I've always had a mind that is always trying to figure out what the next thing is. I don't ever want to get stuck in the past. I want to be open and creative and fluid and building something and always building something new and being fresh, okay? So my talk in Dubai is how chaotic and difficult this world is. We're in a new environment, and I'm comparing it almost to a stroke that I had. It's traumatic, and if you don't know how to change and deal with it, you're gonna have a lot of failure in life. So you need these 3 qualities. You need to be resilient, you need to have a high sense of purpose, and you need to be incredibly creative. Because in the world of AI, people think that it's all about data and that you could just put everything into ChatGPT and give you all the solutions. No, the future belongs to people who are creative, who can think, because no machine can have the creativity that the human brain can have. So I'm going to be telling you how to stay creative in this world, right? How to keep your mind flexible, how to be resilient, and how to have a high sense of purpose.
My father too had a stroke this summer.
Your father?
Yeah, and too he's paralyzed right part of the body. And of course it was very difficult, but right now I thinking that I want to take him to our summit because I think
I would
your
love to.
speech will very inspire him
Okay.
at this time.
Okay.
Robert, I didn't prepare this question before, but I want to ask you, and it's maybe too personal. And if you don't want answered, please tell me.
Okay.
It will be my last question, and we will go with you guys. Do you believe in God?
I believe that there's a much higher power in this world, that there is something transcendent, there's something much larger than us. It's immense. It fills the universe. And about 7 years ago, I nearly died. I had a stroke. You can see how I walk, right? And so I came out of that with a slightly altered perspective about the world. I had a sense of there is something immense out there, okay? And so I don't necessarily put a word to it, a label to it. It doesn't have to be, because we're humans. We're very small. Our minds are actually very limited. And the cosmos, the universe, is immense. And something like God or creation or the universe is actually beyond our ability to even put it into words. It's something that words can't possibly encompass, right? But I definitely believe there is something much bigger than ourselves, something transcendent, and connecting to a sense of I'm a part of this incredible experiment of life is extremely important for people. And I think if I see there's a disease in the 21st century of what's making people crazy, of what's making people kind of sick in their soul, is a disconnect from that. It's a disconnect from something transcendent, from something much larger than ourselves. And we have lost connection to some of the most important things that religion has taught us for many, many centuries. So to answer your question, I can't put a word or a label to it. It's not like God, I'm Jewish. It's not like the Jewish. It's not like Jesus. It's not like Muhammad. It's just something immense. It transcends us. It's what created the universe, and I definitely believe in that.
Thank you, Robert. Robert Greene, please. Well, Miss Robert, we have a lot of books, and could you please sign our
What do you think about that subject for the conference?
subject?
Yeah, what I was talking about.
It is wonderful.
Okay.
It is wonderful.
Because if you don't think so, I'll change it.
No, I think it is wonderful. We should do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please. Books. Yes, gifts. Lucina has books.